Hello, Room 17. It's Miss Long, and I am here with a writing lesson for you on a special poetry technique called alliteration. And in alliteration, you have a group of words that start with the same beginning sound. And to show you an example of that, I have a poem here called A Monster's Day, and I'll be reading this poem to you. So while I'm reading it, please pay special attention to the beginning sounds of certain words, especially the verbs. A monster's day. Monsters creep and monsters crawl. Monsters bite and monsters brawl. Monsters steal and monsters snatch. Monsters hurt and monsters hatch. Monsters smack and monsters smash. Monsters tease and monsters trash. Monsters grab and monsters groan. Monsters mash and monsters moan. A monster's day is never through, with all those monstrous things to do. And the person who wrote this poem is Douglas Florian. His poems are just so much fun to read. So let's take another look, a closer look at this poem. And literally, I'm going to get closer here. So A Monster's Day. So if we look at the first line, we have monsters creep, monsters crawl. The verbs are creep and crawl. Remember, verbs are action words, so it's whatever the monsters are doing in this poem. Monsters bite, monsters brawl. We just continue. Monsters steal and monsters snatch. Monsters hurt, monsters hatch. Monsters smack and monsters smash. Tease and trash. Grab and groan. Moan. And then we don't have any more verbs, but take a look again. Creep and crawl. Listen to the beginning sound. Creep, crawl. You have the CR makes the cr sound, and that's what is called alliteration. You have the same thing with bite and brawl. You have that B sound. Steal, st, snatch. You have the H. You got the S sound here. Actually, it's more than just S. It's S and M that makes sm. Sm. Tease, trash. Grab and groan have the G and R. So just think about this as we get ready to write our own poem. So that's the challenge here, is we don't just write whatever verbs come to mind. You want to try to use alliteration. Verb bake. Let me zoom out. Okay, so we got bake. Now if I want to use alliteration, I got to think of something, a sound that has the same beginning as bake. What about bop? Like to bop someone on the head. And break. I'm sure a lot of you are actively thinking about other verbs that might start with the B sound. How about beat? Now I'm going to think of another word, or another verb, like fly. I know I just underlined the F, but you know what? I'm going to make this an extra challenge for me and think of words that might have F and L at the beginning, like float. That works. Or flip. Nice. Then how about, I'm going to start with the S sound. Another verb might be sway. Have to have S and W. How about just S? So the word see is a verb, or slip. So I hope you get the idea of what alliteration is all about. Now you're going to try it in your own monster poem. Here's a copy of Douglas Florian's monster poem, but with the verbs taken out. So now we have to think of our own verbs. I'm going to use some of the verbs I put down on that brown paper just a second ago. So monsters beat and monsters bop. Oh, and Miss Long was being bad. She forgot to write her name on her paper. So when you submit your work, your writing to Google Classroom, make sure that you write your name on this so I know who the author is. Okay, now we took care of that. So back to monsters beat and monsters bop. Let me put down another pair of verbs like monsters flip and monsters flop. And hey, that's really cool. I have bop and flop, and these two words rhyme. You don't have to have your poem rhyme if it's easier for you and you're just thinking about the verbs. The main thing is think about alliteration of these verbs. So try that before you try to make things rhyme. Sometimes rhyming can be really hard. I know it's hard for me sometimes. So continuing on, monsters. How about what else are monsters doing in my imagination? Monsters shout. Okay, they're shouting. Monsters shout and monsters shake. Oh boy, this is really fun. I have that sound at the beginning of shout and shake. Now, I'm already thinking, what might rhyme with shake? When a word rhymes with another, you have to have the ending sounds the same. So now I have to think about the beginning of the word and the end. So how about, I'm going to do walk, monsters walk, and monsters wake. Aha, so now I have my alliteration, I took care of that, and I have the ending sounds rhyme shake and wake. Wow, this is a real workout for my brain, I'm telling you. Okay, monsters sway and monsters swoop. And then I'm going to have my monsters drag. I don't know what they're dragging, but they're dragging something. And monsters droop. So I have the dr sound at the beginning to show alliteration, and I have swoop and droop rhyming words. Monsters jump. That's another thing I want them to do in my poem. And monsters jiggle. Then my last two verbs are going to be monsters wobble. So I have to have another verb with the W sound. Wiggle. All right. Now I have my alliteration and I have my rhymes. A monster's day is never through with all those monstrous things to do. Retold by Miss Long. Okay, so I am pretty happy with this poem. I know that I used alliteration and I know that I was able to make it rhyme. The main thing, if you want to make this poem a success, is try to make the verbs at the beginning have the same beginning sound. Try to use that alliteration and try to have fun. So Room 17, I wish you good luck on this assignment, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with on Google Classroom. Have fun writing!